All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the She Shines podcast. My name is Helena Das, and I am your host. And today I am so excited to have an incredible woman here today with us, Alex Najarian. I hope I did that right. And just let me tell you a little bit about her. I want to officially introduce her. She is a biz mentor and speaker, like amazing rock star speaker that I got to see at Freedom Queen Live. She is also the founder of the $1 Million Mission Movement, which I absolutely love. And she really is the leader of leaders, and she helps other leaders like us actually become more influential leaders and lead other leaders to really have them follow and grow together and hire us. So I am just really, really honored to have you here today, Alex. And I also wanted to share briefly how you really touched my heart and activated me on a profound level at the Freedom Queen Live event. I don't think I've shared this with you.
Oh,
I wanted to let the people know kind of why I'm so excited to have you here with us today. And not only did you blow me away, like blow my mind and my socks off on the stage with your story and what you shared speaking on stage, but I was very fortunate to get to have pull up a chair, so to speak, at the VIP dinner at your table. And for me, like the activation of what so many coaches talk about, that proximity is power, like just being able to sit at the table with you, like your energy is so like just off the charts. And I felt something so deep inside me, like to the point of I was a little emotional, as I'm sure you recall. And it was just really like this deep activation of a calling to rise and just being seen, and really getting to share, with you guiding us at the table. It was just very, very powerful for me. And I just really wanted to speak to, like, it felt like I had an activation. I'm very sensitive to energy, and I literally felt like I had an activation just by being in your presence that created the little bit of emotions and leaky like almost like a release, if that makes sense. And it was just really, really powerful. So I just wanted
wow.
to share that. And
Thank you. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your platform and on this podcast. It's such a privilege and an honor to be here with you. And also, thank you for the gift of sharing that with me. That is such a special thing to know that you had that experience. And I really appreciate you letting me in on knowing that. Thank you.
my honor, my honor. So yeah, I've heard your story, but for those who might be new to you, I'd love you to share a little bit of, how you got here and
Yeah.
are doing all the amazing things that you're doing
I
today.
mean, gosh, where do I even begin? So, I mean, I will start from what I'm doing now, which feels really big in my heart and my soul. And I have a really big vision, and I'm so proud of what is, but I know it's just the beginning. And like you said, when you introduced me, I have this incredible community, this incredible movement of women who have their own unique gifts and magic. And I help them and I support them and I guide them to bring their unique magic and splash it all over social media, put it into genius offers, offers that they feel like are art from their soul, and sell those offers that transforms lives with their work across the globe and attract women whose lives they can transform into their work. And I have the privilege and the honor to get to help women to do that inside of one of my signature programs, mainly called the Trailblazers. And we stand for trailblazing. We stand for leadership, like you so beautifully put. Like, I stand for becoming the greatest leader that you can possibly become. And as a byproduct, you get to influence and impact other leaders. And that has a massive ripple effect into the world. And, I think of where this all began, and it did not start off that way, right? It's like I started off just actually I mean, gosh, I can take you back to even who I was in high school. And I think that's what is a fun part of my journey is that I really started off being like a theater girl. And, I had probably about 20 extra pounds of weight on me. I had a different body. I had a different mindset. I was kind of known as the girl that like didn't work out. And this isn't a sob story. I was happy back then, but I remember going into college and being like, that was my first kind of perception of an identity transformation where I was like, I don't want to be known as the girl that doesn't work out. I don't think this is serving me to kind of be like the butt of a joke. I'm going to become a girl that's known as being fit. I'm going to shift my identity. And I did. And I started working out. I got in shape. I took control of my health. And I actually became a fitness instructor as my first job outside of college in New York City. And I became really good. Became one of the top fitness instructors. I sold out my classes. The scene in New York City was a whole scene there back in 2017, had boutique fitness. And then I brought my fitness business online during COVID. The gym shut down March of 2020. And I built a 6-figure fitness business. And again, that was just an identity shift. That was when I didn't know what an email list was. I had never hired a business coach, but I just said, I'm going to be the one to serve people. I'm going to be the one to lead people. No one knows how to work out. No one knows how, no one has equipment. I'm going to serve them. So within 24 hours of the gym shutting down, I was hosting Instagram Live saying, do this body weight workout. I was posting, save this workout carousel swipes on Instagram. And I started my first offer. I didn't even know what an offer was. I didn't even have a Stripe link, but I was having people manually message me their emails after Venmoing me because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But 70 people signed up for my $20 fitness offer for the 2 weeks, LOL, laugh out loud, that I thought COVID was going to be. And that turned into my group fitness membership, which turned into a group coaching program. And then I pivoted into business coaching and grew the business coaching from there, which is what I do now. And that's the evolution of my journey and my story. And it really comes down to you go first. That's really what it comes down to.
I love that. I love that. And I actually forgot to mention in the introduction about your 680K cash year, which is
Yes.
just like so incredible.
Yes.
And yeah, I want to absolutely celebrate that. I know you have so many things going on right now with the expansion experiment, which I'm loving. And I started
Yay.
a little tardy to the party, but I'm absolutely loving. And I know that you're planning a wedding and
Yes.
you're going bigger. And I love like this whole energy. And I wanted to ask you like what feels most alive. And I'm sure there is so much that feels alive for you,
Yeah.
because of all that's going on and who you be. But if you
Yes.
pick one thing, like what is most alive for you now?
I think what feels most alive is being really true about the conversations that I want to have and the type of mentorship I want to have and who I want to be having those conversations with and who I want to be leading and really leading with that. And so you mentioned the expansion experiment. That's the challenge that I'm running right now. It's a month-long challenge/program. I think calling it a challenge doesn't quite do it justice, but I'm leading trainings, a training drop every single day in there for 30 days. And that really feels alive and true for me right now. Because I think some people could look at, oh, it's a $33 challenge, whatever, who cares, do a little thing, upgrade some people in the back end. But that's really not how I view my work. I really take it, everything that I put out there, very, I'll use the word seriously, very intentionally. I treat it like a very big deal. Like it feels very big in my body. So I'm really putting my best foot forward, my best leadership forward in the conversations I'm bringing to that space. And I just actually had a coaching call with women inside of that space and it felt very alive and true and like exciting and expansive. So that's what's feeling really big in my body right now that I'm very excited about.
Oh, so cool. And I feel so lucky and excited to be part of that, even though again, I have a little catching up to do, but yeah, that's so amazing. I also would love to ask you, like in a different way with your whole journey that you just shared, like and again, I'm sure there's so many things, but what are you most proud of yourself for when you kind of look back from
Mhm.
where you started and where you are now?
I think as of lately, what I've been most proud of is actually I had a really big year last year, a lot of growth. Like you said, it was my first 680 cash revenue year in my business. And the year before that, we hit like 200,000 something dollars. So it was quite literally a, 3x, like tripling in revenue very quickly. And I think with massive expansion can also come some growing pains, because when you're growing really fast, you're also holding a lot of, yes, you're holding more success and more clients and all the things that we say that we want. And you're also holding more responsibility, more visibility, more perceptions, things that come with having a bigger platform and having more influence. And there were things that came up that challenged me. And that's great, right? The challenges refine us into the leaders that we get to be to lead even bigger. And I am proud of myself that even though some of those challenges wobbled me a little bit or rocked me, I moved through them and became stronger. And I'm more proud of who I am and how I lead myself and the mentorship and the wisdom I'm now able to bring as a result of some of those challenges.
So beautiful. Yeah, I love the way that you put that. And something that's interesting that came to me on this whole topic of expansion
Yes.
is the, I guess, analogy of, a woman, having a baby, birthing a baby, and there's like
Mm,
expansion and contraction, right? And to kind of birth a new us or a next level us or next level to our business or project or whatever, right? Like if you compare it to a woman having a baby, right, she still has to keep like pushing through, like there's going to be contractions and expansion, contraction. I mean, I've never had one, but this is my understanding anyway. And
yes,
that there's still like pushing and breathing. Like if you
yes,
want the baby to come out, right, you still got to push through it.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's a really beautiful, like comparison metaphor. And I think it's absolutely true that I think people maybe have a false perception that growing is just like constant celebrations and it's easy to just like play with the new edge and that you're just going up, 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 up. But it's very expected. I think it should be expected that with growth comes contractions. And sometimes that's feels challenging to hold. But again, it's about how you respond to the contractions. So a lot of people backpedal in their growth because the contraction comes, they think this is too much to hold. And so they go back to old ways of being, old standards, old ways of operating. So they don't have to get stronger to hold more. But if the challenge is coming and instead of saying, oh, this challenge is in the way, this is hard, I want to avoid this, you say the challenge is the way, I'm going to move through this and I'm going to strengthen through it, then you become the person who can hold more success, more of all the things that come with success. And that's how you grow on the other side.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the portal to, yeah,
Yes,
to that next level.
absolutely.
Yeah, so good. I'd also love to ask you if you were to go back to like yourself, if you the you now, like could
Yeah.
go back, talk to the you, let's say, even a year or so ago, is there anything that you would tell her, like, in terms of like wisdom or a golden nugget or something that you would tell her?
Yeah, I would tell her this is a game of being. I would tell her this is a game of energetics. This is a game of you and you. And really the only game that you should be focused on playing is how are you showing up in a way that makes you proud behind the scenes when no one's watching? That's the work. Are you proud of what you're delivering in your trainings? Are you proud of the content that you're putting out there? Are you proud of how you're showing up in your thoughts, in your state every day, of how you're moving through the world? Are you proud of how you're responding to problems, to challenges? Are you proud of how you're showing up in your health, in your relationships? And if you are being everything that you can be and doing everything that you can do in your side of the street, like that's the work and people will respond to you in the timing that they respond. I think where I've ever wobbled, and I think this is human, is getting attached to trying to control the timeline of how other people are moving or responding to us. And then that takes our power away. right? That would take my power away if I was moving like that. But when I can be on my side of the equation and be proud of what is and what I'm doing behind the scenes and the leader that I'm being in my moves, in my
Mhm.
actions, then time is the only variable for the story that I'm writing.
Right. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And that really speaks to, like, I feel something that I've really been kind of going deeper on for myself is just to not be giving the external, whatever it is, the external reality, the external results, all the things, right? Like the power that I have
Yes.
been in the past, and really to
Yes.
just keep coming back to me and,
Yes.
doing the best that I can every day to do that, and having, on those days that I fall off the horse, so to speak, also
Yes.
having the compassion or grace, because I can have a tendency to be really hard on myself. And so, yeah, that's something that I've had to work on for my own, like, just self-love, I guess. Be-
Yes. And like not taking the shame out of it when you wobble. There's no shame in the wobbling, but just being like, oh, what are the tools that I have to, like you said, just reset, refocus. Where am I putting my focus? What am I focusing on? What's the meaning I'm making of it? That's going to determine how you feel within yourself. And then it's going to determine the actions you take. And it's like, just get back on with, release the shame and decide the story you're writing moving forward. And like, that's what you can do. Those are the tools.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Speaking of tools, I
Yeah.
was also curious because you have, like, quantum leaped so quickly, on your journey. Um, and I know the tools that I use, and for myself, and with those that I work with, but I'm just curious if
Yeah.
you would mind sharing, like, what are some of your tools for kind of sort of recalibrating or
Yes.
normalizing your nervous system and all that, along the way.
Yes.
Do you have any go-tos that you like?
Yes. Mentorship and action. So,
I love that.
um, the mentorship, action, and state. So mentorship, I am a big believer in it. And I believe that you naturally calibrate to the people that you spend time with and are around, just like you shared at the beginning of this podcast. Like you were at the table and you physically felt something shift within you energetically. It's like, absolutely, that does not surprise me. And it's like when I hire my mentors, it's not that I'm hiring them just for them to like look at my sales page or look at my content or let's talk about a launch plan. I really am getting around them to calibrate to how they're leading themselves, because they've built what they've built because of who they choose to be. And so I'm looking at, what are their standards? How are they thinking about things? How are they not thinking about things? What are they available for? What are they not available for? And by being around them, I naturally have the desire to calibrate to that standard. So when I look at my mentor I'm working with now, I'm like, she doesn't need external validation to show up and give it her all. She's not focused on how other people are moving. She is focused on where she is taking her brand. She sets the bar. She goes first. She's constantly upgrading and evolving her programs, her offers. If something feels old, if a pricing feels old, if an offer feels old, she does not feel tied to it because, oh, it's working, so let me just get the money from what's working. She cleans it up and her energy goes towards the next evolution. She's, taking care of her health. She's happy. She's focused on enjoying the work that she's doing, the joy that she has for the art that she's putting forward, the work that she's putting forward. And so I observe that, I'm in conversation to it, I'm close to it, and it's only natural that then I desire to make sure that I'm rising to that standard too. So that calibrates my nervous system quickly, is to be in rooms and close relationships with women who are leading themselves at a 10x even bigger frequency than I am. And then it becomes inevitable that I operate on that level as well. So that's the first thing. I would say the second thing is action. I think it's fine to spend time in tools like whatever the tools are, hypnosis, somatics, therapy, conversations and mentorship. I think that's fine. But I think what that's really about is getting you to be able to have the courage to take the action. That's all it is. So I think a lot of people spend too much time, in my opinion, in the work, and they think that the work is doing a somatic practice or going to therapy or doing a hypnosis session or revisiting their childhood trauma. I actually don't think that's the work at all. I think that's the motion that is maybe some people need to do to then get into the work. But the work is doing the action, and nothing calibrates your nervous system to be able to hold more than doing something and failing and dealing with rejection, than holding a client and having a strange client situation happening and needing to learn how to deal with it by dealing with it, by holding a room full of 100 people in your container and not knowing if you can hold it and then crushing it. You do it from the do. And so I think that's one thing, is like, I am on the ground floor every day making the courageous moves that I know I need to be making to go into the next version of myself.
So powerful. I love that. I love that. For me, the what comes to mind on the first part with the mentorship is, and that proximity is power, that whole thing, like being the horsey girl that I am, for me,
Yeah.
that kind of like herd immunity is the way I
Yes.
think about it. Like, because energetically, the horses, all the energy, like you all kind of calibrate to the whole herd moves as one, almost
Yes.
like, energy.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I
Yes.
really love that. And it's one of the reasons I have been in this uh arena, if you will, like in the coaching industry, and investing in coaching and mentorship for over a decade now. So, and I'll never stop. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Just because it's that powerful. And
Yes.
then, yeah, and then the other
Love
piece, the
that.
action. Yeah, thank you. And then on the action piece, I so resonate with that as well. And I know, looking back for myself, I can say that I was guilty of, I think, a lot getting stuck in all, like, doing the things. And it was
Yes.
one of the biggest things that I kind of learned around that was that, when I shifted into I am enough, and I don't have to keep like
Mm.
fixing myself to be good enough to
Yes.
show
Yeah.
up, do the thing, like,
Oh, that's huge.
yeah. And when I started
Yeah.
actually taking the action, like you said, like, it was like, I don't know, it was so empowering.
Yes.
And it started really to shift things for me. Like, I hosted a couple years back my first online summit. Um,
Yes.
and I never did one before, but it felt like I was, kind of, what is that saying? Learning how to fly the plane on the way up, kind of thing.
Yes.
The coach
Exactly.
that I hired at the time to learn how to do that. But yeah, and it was such an amazing experience of just like, get in there and do it, and learn on the way, right? Figure it
Absolutely.
out on the way. So yeah, that is so
And you
powerful.
gain so much more trust of yourself by, like you said, like learning to fly the plane on the way up, getting in the arena, doing the summit. You're like, I did that. That gives you so much more, in my opinion, in my experience, self-trust, self-respect than like doing a money mindset meditation. You know what I mean? And like, not to sound flippant about it, but it's like you gain that
Hmm.
like sense of self from getting in the arena by like doing the do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even I have a background. I went to vet school, and
Yeah,
I can remember, like, all the things that I learned more from, like, the hands-on when we were in the
of
clinics, when we were
course.
seeing, like, the textbooks and the notes and all of that, like,
Yes.
in one ear and out the other. But it was the
Yes.
hands-on, that really where the experience and wisdom came in. So yeah, I really like
Absolutely.
that, and
Yeah.
to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
powerful.
And then I think the last thing, like just that you asked me of like, what are your tools? I think it's mentorship action. And I also think it's state. I'm very focused on like consciously choosing my frequency. And what I mean by that is consciously choosing, where is my focus going? What's the meaning I'm making of it? And then how am I going to let that dictate my experience, my emotional choice in how I'm showing up in life? Because you can always see the glass half empty, right? I could always go, oh, there's 20 people in my program. Why aren't there 100? Or, oh, 7 people like this post. Why not 70? Or, I'm making this much money, but I'm not making that much money. You could always choose to put your focus in what's not there, in the lack and the gap. And when you show up that way, then you get in a low energy energy. Oh, I have to do this. I need to post. Nothing's working. And then you make that true. You make what you focus on true. And
Yeah.
it's more compounding of like what's not working and feeling in a unhappy, low frequency emotional state. Whereas if I can always choose, and it is a choice, like I'm going to focus on what is, I'm going to focus on, I'm excited about what I'm going to put forward in my content today. I'm excited about what I'm going to deliver to my current clients today. I'm excited about getting my workout in and getting to be healthy and energized today. I'm excited about all of this today. And you get into a state of abundance, devotion, mission, service, enthusiasm, love, connection, leadership, then when you consciously choose that state, it changes the frequency of the actions that you take. Yes, you could be posting on social media, but doing it from a place of why is no one buying versus, wow, I'm so excited about what I'm putting forward today. You'll create two entirely different pieces of message of a post. So it completely changes your actions, which then changes the compounding reality.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. And
Yeah.
yeah, something I got from a coach long ago that always stuck
Yes.
with me was the saying free will reigns, like our free
Mm.
will to choose, in every moment, like you said, with our focus and our attention and
Yeah.
intention and attention, all of that. And it's definitely, I feel like it's a muscle that I've been
Yes.
building over time. I can still
Yes.
still
It's a
flip.
muscle.
Yeah.
It's a muscle. Like I always say, like people have a habitual state, and if you want it to like a default, right? We all have like whatever homeostasis is for us, but it's like that gets to be trained and changed if we desire it to be.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just like the fitness thing, right?
Yes.
Bringing that
Yes.
example is always such a great example.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, I would love to, as we're kind of, wrapping things up, I'd love to ask you, my audience is mostly like horsey women, and
Mm.
I've been kind of, I don't want to say pivoting, but more like narrowing my focus towards
Mhm.
the what I call equinepreneurs. So the women who work
Yes.
with horses, and I call them my dark horsepreneurs.
I
Um,
love.
which is like really like the whole Trailblazer theme and the sacred
Yes.
rebel and the black sheep and all of that. But um and so, and then like just soul, like spiritual soul led biz women. And so I am curious if you had like I don't know, any advice or something you wanted to share with them. I
Yeah.
know that this niche is a little bit different because most of the people who work with horses are obviously like, it's kind of like brick and mortar, or doing it in the 3D, right? Like, in the
Mhm.
physical, as but I do I really feel, just from my own journey of bringing my vet stuff and my horse wisdom into the coaching arena and my
Mhm.
transition, would you have any advice for just, in general, them that you would like to leave them with on their
Yeah.
journey? They're ready to go to their next level and really like
Yes.
quantum leap and do the thing, blow the lid off what they think is possible.
Blow the lid off. Yeah,
Blow the lid off.
I would say, I bet that the reason that you're really doing this isn't just to chase a financial amount. I bet the reason that you're really doing this is to see the woman that you can become along the way of this journey to challenge yourself. You want to see how great you know that you can be and watch yourself bring that version of you to life, and then be able to impact people in a bigger way because of who you choose to be. So my biggest suggestion is to wake up every day and have that be your intention and your focus. Like, I'm going to be the greatest version of myself today. And what does that mean? You are the greatest version you can be in all of the moments that make up minutes, that make up hours, that make up days, that make up weeks, that make up months, that make up years. So it's like, who do you choose to be when you're getting ready in the morning? What are the thoughts that you're thinking? What is your focus on? Who are you when you show up for that podcast interview? Who are you when you're speaking to clients? Who are you in your relationship? Who are you when you're making yourself meals? Who are you when you're showing up for your audience, when you're launching your programs, when you're selling your services? Like, how, who are you being? And then the byproduct of being the greatest version of yourself is you'll get to live an even more extraordinary life and impact others with who you choose to be, and they'll want to rise to be that version of them too. So that's the biggest nugget I can give.
Oh, I love that. I love that, right? The be, do, have, right?
Yes. Yes.
Love that so much. And I love how you articulate it. So yeah, thank you so much,
Thank
Alex, for spending
you.
time with me today. And you can find Alex. I'm going to leave all of her information in the show notes
Yes.
below, wherever you're seeing this.
Yes.
Definitely come join the expansion experiment.
Yes.
It's amazing. Depending on when you're seeing this, I know this will be out in a little bit. And yeah, I just am like just so honored, Alex, and grateful that I got to spend time with you today. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure and honor. So thank you. And we will see you on another on the next episode. So ciao
Okay.
for now.
Bye.
Thank you.